You might think you know Mar-a-Lago, and if you do, I'm sorry, but there's so much more hidden behind the walls of Donald Trump's iconic Florida mansion. Yes, it is a winter resort, and in a way, it is the only resort we would dare call historic. It has almost 100 years of history, glamour, luxury, and political scheming behind it. So what exactly lies underneath this businessman's dream? Long before Donald Trump stepped onto the scene, Mar-a-Lago was the brainchild of Marjorie Merriweather Post, one of the wealthiest women in American history. Around the time of 1922, Post, who came from the General Foods family, thought that the residence she owned in Palm Beach was not eye-popping enough. She bought 17 acres of land between the Atlantic Ocean and Lake Worth and started building a mansion that was intended to reflect the extravagance of the era. The name of this place, Mar-a-Lago, which means sea to lake in Spanish, makes us realize that the place is located in this prime location. Construction began in 1923 and was finished 4 years later. The price tag on the construction was $7 million, an equivalent of $120 million today. Inspired by the best minds in architecture, namely Marion Sims Wyeth, along with interior design by Joseph Urban, the estate turned out to be the ultimate fashion of luxury. This was a splendid piece of architecture as it housed 114 rooms and featured Spanish tiles, Italian Dorian stone, and fantastic tapestries. Hurricane resistance was also taken into consideration during the construction of the house when it was built on a coral reef with steel and concrete. While for Post, Mar-a-Lago was an escape, for Trump it was a representation of what America and the upper echelon signifies. She could hardly imagine that this estate would one day become an object of political activity of one of the American presidents. Fast forward to 1985. The 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump, known as a successful real estate tycoon, purchased Mar-a-Lago for $10 million, which appears to be a ridiculously low amount compared to the estate's prime value. Trump had been planning on the purchase of a luxury estate in Palm Beach and had earlier failed in other attempts to acquire the properties. The hard-working extra effort he had invested to ensure that he conducted the research yielded his fruit. After admitting that he planned to build something that rivals Mar-a-Lago's height and would completely cut off the view of the ocean, he managed to buy it from the owners along with its original contents. As soon as he entered the White House, Trump started to invest millions into the renovation of Mar-a-Lago. One of the first changes that he brought was to build a new 20,000-square-foot ballroom that was most overtly covered in gold leaf, a personal favorite of Trump's. His renovations also included modernizing the estate while maintaining its historical charm. In fact, the original Post's design was actually saved due to several trimorphic additions made by Trump. This includes the opulent interior consisting of several luxurious items and an exhaustive assortment of Spanish tiles, but he added some of his own lavish touches. Many of the rooms had fireplaces, woodwork, and marble, which were exquisite, and Trump loved gold and glitter, ending up adding lots of gold-gilded furniture. Still, it is not Mar-a-Lago's size or even its architecture that singles it out from the rest. It was the magnitude of luxury that Trump introduced into the mansion that made it unique. Today, the mansion has 58 bedrooms, 33 bathrooms, a dining table that is made out of marble and is 20 feet long, and it also contains 3 bunkers. Other luxury estates comparable to the Mar-a-Lago could be said to have similar features, but the house is a living record of the former president's wealth, luxury, and dream. When Trump bought Mar-a-Lago, it was mainly used as a personal home, but due to some financial difficulties in the early 1990s, he had to change the use of this mansion. After the year 1995, he converted the estate into a private club for those who have the capacity for a definite sum of money. It was a good business strategy so Trump could retain the property and get some income at the same time. Membership didn't come cheap. The initial investments were to the tune of $200,000, while the annual fees stood at $20,000. Despite the high price, eventually, Mar-a-Lago Club became one of the most popular places in Palm Beach. Many amenities were provided out of association to cater to members. Facilities such as a swimming pool, spa, tennis court, dining area, and even a croquet court too were available. They also organized over-the-top parties and other major events, thus enhancing their reputation as being a perfect playground of the elites. One of the greatest strategic moves Trump made was to convert Mar-a-Lago into a club, while having separate areas for his family's staycation. It let him benefit from the estate in the sense of using it at the same time putting it to commercial use, hence making it a source of income. For the members, Mar-a-Lago was not only a club to play golf and have a rest in a luxurious mansion, but also an opportunity to meet one of the key players in America's business and a figure in the political history of the U.S. After Trump won the presidency and officially became the 45th president of the United States, the importance of Mar-a-Lago increased even more. It was then transformed into what Trump would later call the Southern White House, a residence where he could go and unwind from Washington while addressing presidential duties. Trump was fond of spending his weekends and holidays at Mar-a-Lago, and the place became one of the centers for the reception of foreign visitors and political supporters. In April 2017, Chinese President Xi Jinping paid a visit to President Trump's Florida residence, Mar-a-Lago, during which the two leaders focused on the key issues touching upon trade and North Korea. The mansion was also host to Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, who attended a summit where issues on defense and security were likely discussed. High-profile visits to Mar-a-Lago had generated global attention toward the place as a political center. However, being both the private club and setting for the state activities gave rise to several concerns. Based on these opinions, critics argued for a conflict of interest because the president was in a formal official business within his property where people were paying membership fees. Security issues were also raised, especially after Trump and Abe had an organized discussion about the North Korean missile test at the club outdoors on the dining terrace. This opened up worries about leakage of such secrets. After getting impeached and removed from presidency in 2021, Trump returned to live in Mar-a-Lago, where he resides up to now. Since then, the mansion has turned into a quasi-official White House of the Republican Party. Trump has held fundraising events as well as meetings with political supporters. However, Trump's decision to permanently reside in Mar-a-Lago was not legal because of a zoning restriction from 1993 that prohibited residents from living at the club for more than 3 weeks annually. In this case, the court decided in favor of Trump and ordered that he remain in the mansion as an occupier with the status of a bona fide employee. To understand Mar-a-Lago, one must know that it is more than just a mansion. It's the best example of Trump's business acumen, his political desire, and most importantly, his love of luxurious excess. Dating back to its early years as Marjorie Merriweather Post's seasonal residence, up to becoming one of the most recognized mansions in the U.S., Mar-a-Lago has always been situated at the crossroads of wealth and politics. Today, it still serves not only as Trump's home, but also on a ground in which he continues to play a key role in American politics, exemplifying his enduring influence in the intertwining of wealth, power, and ambition at Mar-a-Lago. If you loved this, check out other videos below to view more interesting comparisons and current topics.